And we're back again. Magic the Gathering. Once again, we are back talking about the cards. As always, we're gonna talk about the most overrated, maybe the most unoriginal thing that anyone could ask for, and that is Magic the Gathering EDH problem when it comes to the core gameplay and the community. So where do we start? Oh, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to even go with this. I think the biggest problem with Magic the Gathering is honestly the side of the community is definitely a split between what's okay, what's not okay. And I think that's what makes the game more or less fun for some people, and especially for people who are experienced with the game and not experienced with the game. I myself been playing for many, many years now. I experience a lot of games. I haven't touched the modern set, never touched it, not even Pioneer. But I have experience in Standard, I have experience in Historic Brawl, and I have experience in Commander format, which is maybe the most popular format that everyone usually plays or likes to play. But let's focus on Commander format for today because I feel there is so many things that is wrong with Commander, and I feel like it's very easy to kind of um, kind of be counterproductive with certain opinions and certain ways of mentality thinking because everyone has different opinion about different things and also how they um, think of the card and being used as a card. You can, for example, there are times and places where people play bad cards, but subtly they used one specific card that's very good, just magically somehow dramatically changes the deck itself. And that really diverse the people's opinion on what's okay, what's not okay to be played in Commander. Because there's such a diverse amount of cards that you can explore and take in that it's very hard to kind of pinpoint if you're having fun or not having fun. And this is where I'm gonna start talking about my problem with Commander. So right, so let's talk about Magic the Gathering as EDH community. Like, what is Commander and what do we know about it, and just explore the nature of the Commander itself. And we're gonna start off by saying Commander is a 100 card deck. You probably already know that. One Commander, 99 deck, color identity, and really, there's over like so many cards. I don't know exact number to the cards, but too many. And let's not also forget about two another facts about this Commander format and Magic the Gathering itself. Over the past course of years, we had a lot of new sets coming out, and we had too many. And due to the having too many sets coming in, it's very hard to kind of juggle on what people want to play because of the precons being released, and then there's like new cards being released, and then people like find this really awkward combination that somehow works, and sometimes they just slap them in together and it just works. But that's when the problem starts to become more and more harder to navigate what's not okay to be played and what is okay to be played by people. And there's also like an unspoken rule in the Commander format as well, which is also a very big problem with the Commander game as well. And a lot of people have a little bit of assault what is okay and what's not okay. So to begin with this problem, with the new sets of cards releasing so frequently, I think one of the most hottest card on this year, or at least has been still going for a year now, and I think it's Lord of the Rings One Ring, and probably is known for to be one of the strongest card ever existed in Magic the Gathering on this recent year. Um, because of the flexibility and the nature and the way that it operates. And it's everything you ever wanted in a card. You got protection, you got a color draw engine, it doesn't need color identity, it draws you cards. Did I already mention that? I don't even know. But you can already see. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot to mention. Indestructible. Very nice. How else would you interact with it? So, that card alone has sparked a lot of people's attention, and just in span of a year, it's already just increased the prices, and it's already at like $100, and it's just keep going up from here on. And because the card is still legal in Commander and in Modern and other formats, it's very hard to kind of like say that that is a fun card to play. So this is where opinion comes in, and it kind of really have to like digest and take this as a grain of salt that everything I say from here, it's not literally true. This is more like an opinion, and I feel like a lot of people like interrupt this as a fact or as a truthful statement. But at the same time, there is some truth to it. And there's no denying that, because it's a card game at the end of the day. And the whole nature of the card game is be strategic with the game, but there's also a line between what is too much and what's too little. And One Ring is what I would consider too much. So, I'm not gonna go a rant all day about One Ring, because I myself play One Ring. Some of my decks need One Ring, some of them don't need One Ring. But the reason why I need them is because it's good. It's strong, it's high synergistic with a lot of artifact decks, and it's just really, really good. And there are times and places where I feel like the One Ring is just not fun to play. Obviously, that's my opinion. I don't think the card itself should be, well, banned is a very strong word to use, especially when I don't have experience with every ruling to every situation. For example, there's a reason why Golas got banned, or like a specific card like the Power 9 cards, because obviously they're so powerful and maybe the most craziest card that ever existed. But you get the idea. Is that we have certain cards that still are legal to play. Like we got Ancient Tomb, that's legal to play in Commander. We got Mana Crypt. We got Grim Tutor, Vampiric Tutor. Those cards are so strong on their own that they're still legal to play. And I don't even know myself why they're still legal. Because they are so good. Especially, let's not forget about Ragavan, or Dockside, or gee, what else is there? Rim 6 Study, Smothering Type, those cards are so strong, but they're not always perfect. But One Ring somehow makes it perfect, because due to the flexibility, if you compare it to other cards. Obviously, there's a drawback, like taking damage, and, endless value, and being an artifact, having no color identity. But you get an idea. That's when I say this is too much, and that's when it becomes like, is this a problem or not a problem? Then you compare it to other colorless cards that exist that does similar things, but more fairer. Obviously, that's kind of the topic I'm leaning on, if that makes sense. It's hard to kind of define what is okay and what is not okay. But that's my opinion on the concept of the cards itself. So obviously everything I just mentioned here is more of an opinion, it's not a fact. But you get an idea where I'm coming from when comparing to other cards. There's nothing wrong with comparing other cards due to the nature of the card game. Because it's very important to notice the flaws and weakness and the busted side of it to make sense of it. How could you make it more better? How can we make it not better? How can we make it less better? Obviously, the One Ring was supposed to be powerful because it's one of the most iconic cards that ever existed. And this is where my second topic is going to be. And that is no longer cards, but this time it's the people. Now, my biggest problem with EDH, the second being, is honestly, oh god, it's how people are very diverse with opinions, but also have this very attachment with the cards. And myself included, I play Magic the Gathering as if it was my passion. I get attached to it. I love my cards. I love playing cards. I love building cards. I have 17 decks. Obviously, for some of you, it might not be a lot. Some of you probably got 50s, 100. God knows how long you've been playing Commander or Magic for. But I'm very passionate about it. But there's another problem which I feel like it's it's becoming more and more a problem as I mentioned before, that the sets and the cards releasing so frequently that it's starting to change people's opinions and the people themselves as they play the game longer and longer and longer. So I think that this is also becoming a very big problem with the Magic the Gathering community. And I think that a lot of people have diverse opinion on power level as well. And I think that's when it also becomes very problematic with how people define the deck level. Obviously, myself, I don't think the power level goes from 1 to 10. It makes a lot of sense because everyone has different sense of what considered to be too strong and too weak. And for example, some people say Judas is fine, but Infinite is not fine because you can see there's a barrier between two of those cards, and if you put them together, well, you just got yourself a competitive deck because that's kind of how it works. Of course, that's an opinion. So everyone has a different opinion on that side of power level. And my biggest problem with Magic the Gathering is the community side is able to extract from knowing what you're dealing with when you're playing with people. A lot of people have different mindset about playing Commander format, and I feel like it's very interesting to go into this depth about unspoken rule in the Commander format. And a lot of people have this like rule zero and different ideas of what is okay and what isn't okay to be played. And of course, one of the biggest ones that people hate to be playing is stacks. And I personally myself don't like to play stacks, but the irony is that I do like to play pillar fort decks, which is technically kind of a stacksy deck, kinda. So obviously, a lot of people come and hate for those kind of settings in the game, or like land destructive decks. Like people hate when you stop them from blowing up the decks. However, what if there was a moment in time where you can win in that moment by destroying people's land? Is that okay or is that not okay? And this is where it's very interesting to dive in this kind of rule zero and what is and isn't okay. And like I said, everyone has different opinions about different things in this game. And I love exploring people's opinions on certain cards, but I also can't seem to digest certain way that people think about cards because sometimes I'm in disagreement the way they think. And I'll give you an opinion. I'm not going to mention anyone's name or anything like that, but I had a very interesting take. I met a person who recently I talked to on a group chat with people, and we were talking about the recent pre-cons for Bloomborough, which you probably can see right here. Those sets for the Raccoon, Go Smash, Bello. I think it's Bello Commander. Bello is a very fun commander. He's very much of a glass cannon commander, and he's very interesting. And if you don't know what Bello is, he basically makes artifact and creatures that mana for greater that are not our or equipment into your creatures, and basically makes them to 4/4 haste and gives them draws when it hits the player. Pretty simple and straightforward. But when you pass the priority to your next player, they stop being creatures and giving you a very wide open board in maybe getting killed in the game. So, aka Bello is a glass cannon deck. Obviously, the precon, you need a modifier to make it more powerful, etc. But the whole point I'm trying to make here is that I had a very interesting opinion. And I was talking to someone about Bello, and I said that the deck itself that comes in, it wasn't very good as a precon. And because due to lack of synergy wise at the same time, it felt very class cannon deck compared to other precons. Like the Squirrel had blockers, Zinni had like ways to get more tokens that stay on the board. You got Miss Bumbleflower, which is a very heavily good blocker with a 5 defense, 4 mana that can also give creatures flying and counters on cards, but you also have to sacrifice by giving opponent draws. You know, that's kind of strong. That's insanely good. But when you compare to Bello, Bello's very wide open. He's a very easy to punish in a precon deck. And this person comes in and says that Miss Bumbleflower is maybe the most weakest compared to other decks. And that's when it made me think, where did he get the idea that Miss Bumbleflower was weak? Where did that line draw in? Because when I compare to the precon, I noticed that Bello doesn't have any protection spells. And I find that very interesting when comparing it. And then when you look at Miss Bumbleflower, she has at least 2 counter spells, 1 protection spell, and a Swift Boots. Why does she need the Swift Boots? Why does Bello not have Swift Boots? He's an artifact enchantment deck, and it fits him very well, and that's synergistic. But for some reason, Swift Boots given to Miss Bumble for whatever reason. A Swift Boots. Like, Bello has no protection whatsoever. If Bello dies at any moment in that precon, he's gone. As soon as you say you go in combat and Bello gets removed, your stuff that turn into creatures, tough luck. They're no longer creatures. It's bad. Very, very bad. So, that's where I wanted to kind of like draw a line and kind of give you an idea the kind of people I meet online and talk to and interesting take. Obviously, that person didn't take very lightly of my striking opinion of that take, but he was like kind of in a disagreement, like, yeah, like I can have my own opinion, which is fine. But again, I just think that it's okay to have a disagreement, but I'm very, very intrigued to learn about where that opinion's coming from and how did they came up with this answer. Because remember, when you're playing Commander in the game and having the same situation, you might be in the same spot, and then you see Bello is underperforming, let's say a couple of games in the precon, and then you compare it to Miss Bumble. You can obviously see that Miss Bumble will do more stuff and play more things in the process. When compared to Bello Precon, it's very easy to punish. Just too easy. There's a many situations in the decks that make me go like, that doesn't make sense. But that doesn't mean Miss Bumbleflower also doesn't have bad cards. It does. It really does. But when compared to flexibility, Bello just not good. It's just not good. It's blockable, easy to chump block, it's easy to punish, there's no protection spells, the list goes on. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm leaning on the commander side, and I just find it very interesting to learn how diverse the community is. And honestly, I'm very scared about where the commander is going over the next couple of years from here and on, because the power creep is getting more and more and more powerful, and it's getting to the point where people opinions and changes diversity very quickly. Now obviously I'll say this once more, but with Bello being upgraded, it becomes fucking terrifying. There's no denying that. What amount of endless protection you could do with Bello is insane. Absolutely insane. But when you compare it to Miss Bumbleflower deck, there's just so much flexibility. The color pie, mwah. The counter spells, mwah. The nature of the commander itself just being a pillar for the control, mwah. Bello is good, but due to color Gru decks in commander, it's kind of hard to say that it's gonna be good. That's just my opinion. Anyway. Yeah, that's kind of my opinion on this take. I just kind of want to express my concern, really. And my third, basically, subject is really it's the same kind of leaning on the community side of Magic the Gathering, but I think we're gonna go back to leaning on this category of theme of playstyle, like back to stacks, pillar fort, control decks, and those kind of obnoxious cards that you might not see very often, but works with decks. And I feel like a lot of people become very much more softy in playing Commander, and I feel like a lot of people come into conclusion that people don't actually play the game to win anymore. It's actually very, very interesting to kind of learn that people stop caring about winning and start playing the game more casually than ever before. But my problem is the amount of cards that's been releasing on those couple of years as time goes by has becoming more oppressive, more obnoxious, and more unfun to play against. Like one of them being One Wing, and then we got like March of the Machine reprinting Ragavan, we got Atraxa reprint. We got what else do we have as example? We got like Maha that makes everything toughness and choose one. We got like what else do we have? God, Jesus. You get the point. Is that there's a lot of more oppressive cards that now starting to power creep more often than not, and people take advantage of that. Because, like I said, this is where things get very interesting. People have the split category of playing casual but wanting to play strong cards, but want to have fun with them. But when people are trying to play strong cards, but also win, those same people that play those strong cards are getting mad at them for taking advantage of that strong synergy cards. So sometimes people, I had like this very, very interesting um, opinion about something, and that was people said to me, or somebody said to me like, "Hey, Max, the palm stop doesn't actually happen." In certain cases, for example, if somebody like cracked a pack and got Dockside and they wanted to play in a pirate deck, they wouldn't know that's like palm stomping or like power creep or whatever you want to call it, because they thought it makes sense, put a pirate card in a commander and stuff like that. Fair point. That is a completely fair point. But it doesn't change the fact that those cards exist, and it really changes people's opinion, and especially on the game that they play. Because if they don't understand certain cards and they don't agree with a certain power level due to rule 0 or whatever, then it becomes a problem. For example, if somebody says, "Hey, rule 0, no dark side." See how simple that sounds. When you start the game, the same person who put a pirate card in his deck, Dockside, plays Dockside, happens to not realize that was Dockside. Then obviously you can already imagine in your head that the people in the pot will probably not be happy. They probably thought he's probably lying. He could be, you know, he didn't realize how powerful it was. And you know what? I'll tell you something right now. When I started playing Commander myself, I was guilty of this. I played Mana Crypt. I played Voice of Hunger, which taps people's lands and they cannot untap them to the next following untap step. Very obnoxious card. And I've been called many horrible things during that time. I've been called, "Oh, you're like as horrible as people who plays like Winter Orb. You're a bad person." Like, they're just trying to like, and that's when I come to realize, for the first time, how people think differently about the game. And I honestly, I'm amazed how things change over the past 4 or 5 years. And like I said, I've been playing Commander for a very long time. I've been playing it for about Commander 3 years now, and maybe 4 years, I think. Yeah, 4 years. I've been playing Commander for 4 years now, and obviously my opinion about certain cards changes, and I really do try to kind of lean away from being upset about certain power level. But at the same time, there's always going to be a moment where I'm going to get salty. I've seen people play. When I saw Nado, for example, for the first time, I already knew instantly that I'm gonna hate this card. And then when I saw this commander being played for the first time ever in a commander on like physical, I realized how unfun it's going to be. I already knew, and when the time came in when that happened, it happened. It happened. The impossible happened. It made the game more miserable to play, unfun, and it wasn't. For them, it was just like a joke. And that's when it becomes very anti-fun, because people take advantage of certain cards without either realizing it or the abuse of the cards due to the nature of it. But at the same time, here's the interesting part. I also met a person who plays Nado as a commander, but also had a companion that only be casted with mana 3 or greater in a starting deck. Now, I don't know how that commander would work with the sorry, companion, but he said that was that's like a mid and low power deck. That's basically what he told me. Obviously, I haven't seen the deck list. I can't say for sure. But I found it very interesting the fact that people would choose Nadu as a commander and try to make him less powerful. That's when it becomes, for me, it's a very interesting like mindset. Why make so many weak cards or more moderate, but having a strong commander? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you can say the same about CDH, like Cranko. You can make Cranko pretty casual, but it doesn't stop him from being a strong commander. Because the problem with commander is having a commander in your command zone, specific one card that could be played anytime on your turn, it's good. If your commander can draw your cards, shoot at stuff, make stuff less cost, like Son of Yakmot, Light Pulse. Ragavan can be your commander. Now, obviously, yes, there is always going to be a drawback. Yes, yes, Max, just play interaction. Yeah, 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 all you gotta do is just counterspell it. Yeah, 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 people just don't run interaction. People don't do this. Yeah, I heard that millions of times. We all heard the same shit and the same words and the same ideas. We get it. You can run interaction and stop them, or you can play stacks and play. I mean, I'm guilty of this. I play obnoxious cards. I play a motherfucking Mind Razor. Nobody likes playing against Mind Razor, but you know what? I'm never going to play this in medium or lower power decks with other people because this deck is punishing. It's really is punishing to play against. But I do feel like it's very easy to pinpoint what is considered to be too powerful. And yeah, so the point is that there's always going to be a line between what people say is okay and not okay. Anyway, I hope that this video has been an interesting open topic to talk about, and I hope that makes an idea where I'm coming from, where I am leaning on this conversation. I know it's not very interesting topic to talk about because you probably already have your own certain opinion about certain cards and how you think. But I hope this gives you an idea where we stand as a community and also where the future of Magic the Gathering is going. Because it's like I said, I'm not happy with where this Magic is going, but at very least I'm just glad it's not going to where Yu-Gi-Oh is going. Because Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know where to even begin with Yu-Gi-Oh. I have my biggest problems with it. And there's just it's just something else. It's a completely different field. But Magic, I have so many problems. The cards are releasing too quickly. I can't even spend. We just had Modern Horizon 3 and we're already on Bloom Borrow, and now we're having like something called Foundation, and then we have something called Dusk of Mord, like the Horror of the House set that's coming out in like late September. We are just in August, and we just already talking about new set that's coming out. Bro, we're not even given time for our precons to shine. They are so fun to play and so interesting that we cannot like stress enough how crazy like the cards are releasing. And then we got like One Ring price increasing. We got some crazy reprints coming back. And it's amazing how things change over time. Anyway, I hope that this has been enjoyable content to watch, and like a background noise maybe, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for watching.